Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The Golden State Warriors are once again at the center of whispers in the NBA world, this time revolving around a sharp critique from head coach Steve Kerr, directed at young forward Jonathan Kuminga. Sources close to the team have hinted that tensions have been simmering for months, though Kerr's recent public remarks have brought them to a boiling point. During a press conference following another tight win, Kerr's comments, "We want athletes who are fully committed," sent shockwaves through the fan base, igniting speculation about Kuminga's future with the franchise. The young forward, who has been hailed for his raw talent and athleticism, now finds himself in the crosshairs of a narrative that questions not his skill but his perceived dedication. Insiders suggest that behind the polished locker room smiles, a real conversation about effort, focus, and the alignment of expectations is taking place. Social media exploded almost immediately after Kerr's statement, with fans dissecting every word, trying to gauge if this was a minor critique or a signal of deeper dissatisfaction. Sports analysts are quietly noting patterns in Kuminga's minutes and usage, speculating whether Kerr's critique could foreshadow a trade, a shift in playing time, or simply a tougher approach to mentoring. The timing of the comments, just as the playoffs loom, adds another layer of intrigue, as every team is hyper-focused on chemistry, performance, and player accountability. As whispers continue, the NBA rumor mill is buzzing with potential scenarios, from internal confrontations to strategic benching, fueling debate about how the Warriors handle emerging stars under intense pressure. Even among teammates, murmurs have started circulating, suggesting that Kerr's message might resonate beyond just Kuminga. Veteran players are reportedly weighing in behind closed doors, offering guidance or perhaps subtle warnings about the intensity expected in the Warriors' culture. The franchise has long been praised for balancing a championship mindset with nurturing young talent, but sources hint that this delicate balance is being tested in real time. Observers point to Kuminga's occasional lapses on both ends of the floor, suggesting that his inconsistency might be the catalyst for Kerr's pointed words. Rumors also suggest that front office executives have convened informal meetings to assess the broader implications of public critiques, fearing that perceived friction could spiral into a narrative damaging to team morale. Social media influencers and fan forums are dissecting video clips, looking for micro-expressions, body language, and in-game reactions that could hint at Kuminga's response to the coach's comments. Every subtle interaction is being scrutinized for signs of tension, approval, or defiance. Moreover, sports writers are drawing comparisons to previous young talents under Kerr, wondering whether this public critique follows a pattern of tough love or is something more strategic. As conversations spread online, speculation intensifies about whether this will lead to a realignment in the team's rotation or simply serve as a motivational tactic. The dynamic between a young star and a seasoned coach has always been delicate, and this moment seems to encapsulate the pressures of expectation, talent, and accountability converging in the Warriors' locker room. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike are now holding their breath, wondering if this is the beginning of a turning point in Kuminga's career or a temporary spark in the ongoing story of the team's evolving roster dynamics. Rumors within the league suggest that Steve Kerr's critique might be a strategic maneuver rather than an emotional outburst. Sources familiar with the inner workings of the Warriors indicate that Kerr has historically used public comments to subtly push players toward improved performance, often catching them off guard and forcing introspection. In Kuminga's case, this might be a signal not of discord, but of heightened expectations. Analysts are connecting dots from past incidents, noting that young players under Kerr often experience a sudden uptick in scrutiny, followed by remarkable growth, both statistically and in terms of leadership. However, insiders caution that the public nature of this critique introduces variables. Social media amplification, fan reactions, and the relentless media narrative can create pressure far beyond the locker room. Some whisper that front office strategists might be quietly preparing contingency plans, weighing trade options or mentoring programs, should the situation escalate. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly observing the situation closely, seeing potential leverage points in a star-studded young roster that may be internally strained. Every practice, every post-game interview, and even casual locker room chatter is under magnifying glass scrutiny as pundits and insiders attempt to predict outcomes. The Warriors' approach to player development, balancing criticism with encouragement, is now being tested publicly, with Kuminga at the epicenter. In social media circles, fans are divided. Some defend Kuminga's right to grow without public scrutiny, while others argue that this is exactly the push needed to reach elite potential. As whispers transform into conjectures, the NBA rumor mill churns with multiple potential narratives, each more dramatic than the last, painting a picture of a young talent standing at a crossroads of expectations, performance, and perception, all under the intense gaze of a championship-contending franchise. Sources inside the Warriors facility hint that locker room dynamics have become an unspoken storyline in this saga. While KERR maintains professionalism publicly, private conversations reveal a nuanced approach to handling a roster of stars and developing players. Kuminga, still in the early stages of his NBA journey, reportedly shows flashes of brilliance but also moments of distraction or disengagement, which may have fueled the coach's pointed remarks. Observers suggest that veterans on the team are stepping into mentoring roles, subtly guiding the young forward while maintaining harmony with the coaching staff's expectations. Meanwhile, internal staff are tracking metrics beyond the box score, effort on drills, response to coaching feedback, and leadership during team huddles. Rumors also hint at informal feedback sessions where players and coaches address performance, attitude, and the importance of team culture. Insiders suggest that the ripple effects of KERR's critique extend into player psychology and locker room culture. Observers hint that younger players, watching the exchange, may recalibrate their behavior, commitment, and approach to practice, seeing the public feedback as both a warning and a benchmark. Veteran players are reportedly mediating, reinforcing expectations while attempting to shield the overall environment from unnecessary tension. Analysts note that this situation mirrors previous instances where young talent faced public scrutiny under KERR, often resulting in accelerated development and increased maturity. Rumors indicate that the coaching staff is closely monitoring Kuminga's body language, reactions to feedback, and social interactions, treating each as data points in assessing resilience, adaptability, and commitment. Meanwhile, fans dissect every highlight, replay, and interview, further amplifying the psychological stakes. Sports commentators speculate on the potential for trade discussions, bench adjustments, or expanded responsibilities, each scenario influencing how both internal and external narratives unfold. The rumor mill churns with hypothetical situations. What if Kuminga steps up and proves critics wrong? What if friction escalates and forces a strategic pivot in rotations or team structure? The combination of public scrutiny, internal mentorship, and fan engagement creates an ecosystem where perception and reality constantly interact, shaping both player behavior and organizational decision-making. The Warriors, known for their championship culture, appear to be testing not only Kuminga's athletic ability, but his mental fortitude, adaptability, and alignment with a culture that demands consistent excellence. Each day adds layers to the evolving story, blending on-court performance, off-court perception, and the high-stakes drama of professional sports in a team chasing greatness amidst an environment of constant observation, rumor, and relentless expectation. The intrigue surrounding Kuminga's situation has also caught the attention of rival franchises, sources indicate. Competitors are reportedly monitoring the Warriors' internal dynamics, curious whether this public critique might provide leverage in trade negotiations, scouting, or psychological games during future matchups. Analysts suggest that the ripple effect of KERR's comments could extend beyond Golden State, subtly influencing how other teams approach young, talented players facing criticism. Rumors also point to informal league-wide conversations where executives exchange perspectives on player development, public communication, and managing the balance between talent nurturing and accountability. Meanwhile, fan engagement has intensified, with social media polls, memes, and debates framing Kuminga's response as a narrative of personal growth or potential tension. Sports journalists are dissecting every statement, training session, and practice clip, attempting to infer intentions, reactions, and consequences. Behind closed doors, the Warriors staff are reportedly using the situation as a case study in leadership, communication, and team cohesion. The convergence of internal critique, media scrutiny, and fan speculation creates a unique ecosystem where every action is magnified, every gesture analyzed, and every outcome theorized. Sources hint that strategic messaging, rotations, and mentoring sessions are being calibrated to address both performance and public perception. As the narrative continues to unfold, it paints a complex picture of modern professional sports, where athletic prowess, mental resilience, communication strategy, and media amplification intersect to create drama, speculation, and intrigue around a young player at the center of a high-profile franchise. Rumors now suggest that the Warriors might be planning subtle adjustments in response to KERR's critique. Insider chatter indicates that practice intensity, individual drills, and team strategy sessions are being slightly modified to create both accountability and opportunity for Kuminga to demonstrate growth. Analysts are interpreting shifts in practice rotations, shot assignments, and defensive matchups as signals of a larger plan, designed not just to improve performance, but to evaluate commitment under pressure. Observers hint that private meetings between coaching staff and Kuminga are increasingly frequent, focusing on alignment with expectations, effort, and responsiveness to feedback. Social media discussions continue to add fuel, with fans speculating about trade possibilities, starting lineup changes, and long-term player development strategies. Behind the scenes, veteran players are reportedly mentoring, offering subtle guidance while monitoring potential friction points, a dual role that combines leadership with management of team dynamics. Sources indicate that these measures are consistent with the Warriors' history of balancing player development with championship aspirations, though the public nature of KERR's comments has intensified scrutiny. The interaction between critique, response, and observation now feels almost performative, yet reflects a real-time process of evaluation, growth, and adjustment. The swirling rumors suggest a landscape in which every action, reaction, and performance is a data point in a broader organizational calculus. Ultimately, the situation around Kuminga encapsulates a delicate balancing act, blending personal development, team culture, media narratives, and league-wide observation into a complex story of modern NBA dynamics. Where talent alone does not guarantee success, commitment and perception are equally scrutinized, and every rumor has the potential to influence real-world outcomes. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Industry whispers indicate that KERR's critique may also serve as a broader message to the league and other young players, signaling the uncompromising standards expected within the Warriors system. Sources suggest that the public nature of the comment is deliberate, intended to shape not just Kuminga's development, but also the expectations of emerging talent across the NBA. Analysts speculate that this approach leverages social dynamics, peer observation, and public scrutiny to reinforce a culture of accountability, aligning individual behavior with organizational goals. Rumors indicate that the front office is coordinating subtle messaging, rotations, and mentorship strategies to balance critique with growth opportunities, creating a controlled environment where performance and perception intersect. Social media continues to magnify these dynamics, transforming routine practices, interviews, and game moments into evidence of compliance or potential friction. Observers note that this creates a psychological layer where every action is scrutinized, interpreted, and debated, influencing both internal behavior and external narrative. Meanwhile, veteran players are reportedly engaging in informal coaching, offering guidance, and modeling expected standards while monitoring Kuminga's response. Analysts predict that this combination of public critique, structured mentorship, and external speculation could accelerate maturity, resilience, and professional development. The situation, fueled by rumor and media attention, evolves into a multi-dimensional narrative encompassing talent management, leadership cultivation, and the pressures of performing under constant observation in one of the league's most high-profile franchises. Every interaction now carries weight, amplifying the stakes of commitment, perception, and personal growth. Insiders report that league executives are quietly observing the KUMINGA situation, seeing it as a potential case study in player development, media management, and organizational culture. Rumors suggest that other franchises are analyzing the Warriors' methods, from KERR's public critique to the structured mentorship and rotation adjustments, to inform their own strategies for handling young talent. Analysts speculate that this attention adds an external dimension to KUMINGA's experience, where both performance and perception influence decision-making. Social media continues to serve as an amplifier, generating real-time feedback that shapes fan sentiment, narrative framing, and potentially even internal team strategy. Observers note that this ecosystem creates a dynamic tension, where scrutiny, expectation, and opportunity intersect, testing not only KUMINGA's athletic ability, but his psychological resilience and adaptability. Some insiders hint that veteran guidance is key to mitigating risks, providing a buffer between public pressure and private development, while also reinforcing the Warriors' culture. Analysts predict that how KUMINGA navigates this landscape could serve as a defining moment in his career, influencing both his immediate role and long-term trajectory. The rumors, debates, and speculation surrounding this saga have transformed routine team management into a multi-layered narrative, blending mentorship, strategy, performance, and media dynamics. Every move, gesture, and interaction is now magnified, illustrating the complex interplay of talent, commitment, and perception in shaping professional success within a championship-focused environment. Sources indicate that informal feedback sessions between coaching staff and KUMINGA have become increasingly frequent, focusing on alignment, accountability, and performance under pressure. Rumors suggest that these interactions are structured to test resilience, commitment, and adaptability, using subtle rotations, targeted drills, and behavioral observation as evaluative tools. Analysts argue that this approach mirrors historical patterns in KERR's coaching philosophy, where public critique is paired with private mentorship to catalyze growth. Social media continues to amplify the narrative, with fan speculation, highlight reels, and debate adding layers of scrutiny that intersect with internal evaluation. Observers suggest that the combination of mentorship, structured feedback, and external pressure creates an environment that rewards accountability, focus, and consistent effort. Veteran players are reportedly stepping into dual roles as mentors and evaluators, providing guidance while monitoring potential friction points within team dynamics. Analysts predict that this environment could accelerate KUMINGA's development, transforming public critique into tangible performance gains, while simultaneously reinforcing the Warriors' culture of accountability and professionalism. Rumors indicate that rival teams remain alert, observing both potential vulnerabilities and lessons applicable to managing young talent in high-pressure contexts. This multidimensional narrative highlights the intersection of coaching, mentorship, media, and rumor, illustrating how professional development in a high-profile NBA franchise is influenced as much by perception and expectation as by raw talent. Every action, on and off the court, is now scrutinized, creating an evolving story of growth, tension, and strategic orchestration that could define KUMINGA's trajectory within the Warriors organization. Whispers suggest that the unfolding saga has also intensified fan engagement, with online communities dissecting every detail, speculation, and subtle interaction involving KUMINGA. Sources indicate that this heightened scrutiny has psychological implications, influencing both perception and behavior, as the young forward navigates expectations in a public arena. Analysts note that social media acts as both a magnifier and accelerant, turning minor observations into widely debated narratives. Rumors hint that internal communications now account for external perception, with the coaching staff and front office calibrating messaging, rotations, and mentorship to balance critique with encouragement. Veteran players reportedly play a critical role, providing real-time feedback while modeling standards, maintaining harmony, and subtly guiding team culture. Observers suggest that this convergence of public scrutiny, internal mentorship, and media amplification creates a high-stakes environment where talent, perception, and resilience intersect. Analysts speculate that how KUMINGA responds to this multi-layered dynamic could shape not only his career trajectory, but also broader strategic decisions within the franchise. The narrative, fueled by rumor and speculation, transcends ordinary sports coverage, becoming a complex story of professional growth, accountability, and the pressures of performing under constant observation. Fans, insiders, and analysts continue to dissect the unfolding drama, reflecting the interplay between talent, culture, and narrative in shaping the future of both a young star and a championship-contending team. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.